just turns everything on.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Okay,
That's
yes,
very
that is
lovely.
a beautiful thing. We can thank Richard for that.
Thank
Remember
you.
the beautiful
He's-
turning on switch? Turning on all the things.
And so that's all sequenced. He's got a
Just turn
sequencer in
everything.
there, and there'll be a
Oh, that's
switch like that in the
beautiful.
sacristy too. If like Sylvia and I are doing a simple service where we don't, what we need is the sound on.
Mhm.
We'll have a, there's going to be a button down there as well.
Mhm.
And this computer is what is going to run everything. Oh.
Just
Oh, yeah.
So, it's
so,
on,
friends, do you remember that when the crazy feedback happens, there is a button at the top that says input, and you push it.
Yes, and you may have to mute a channel, but what I did is I changed the microphone, but didn't change the volume. So now we're learning that this gain needs to come down because it's a stronger mic.
Do we need to turn on this computer separately?
It is, what I did is I plugged it in separate, so if it gets powered down normally, then we'll have to power it up from there, which is the way we want it, yes. Because we don't want to turn the system off and just slam the computer down. So the computer's plugged in its own power direct over here.
Okay.
So when we look on the power cords on the wall, one cord goes to the system and one cord goes to the computer. If we ever want to put it on, what are they, the ones with the batteries? We can always put that. So, yeah, if you want to put a backup on it, then that's always an optional thing.
Okay, that's fine.
So got that for a service. You're going to come up and you're going to turn the little switch on the wall, which you can't see because Christopher's head is there, but it's there. There it is. And then you're going to go down beneath and you're going to turn on the computer. Okay, got it. Good.
So we may decide if we put the computer on a battery backup,
Basically.
it is safe to just leave on. You don't have to turn it off.
Yeah.
It is safe if you're not sure of surges and lightning to turn it off over the weekend. But if it's got a battery backup, it's safe to just, you don't even have to turn the computer off. That way, so.
So right now, the password for this is just 2021.
Cool.
And so we're gonna open Zoom now.
You have a picture. Where you can write
So
that.
I'm just gonna, I actually have to go to the browser here. And I think we have a browser we're using here. Wait, does this have two browsers?
That's not a browser.
What's the browser?
Chrome, I assume?
Yeah, probably just use Chrome.
Yeah, that's the
I
red and yellow and green one.
Yeah, I think that. So hopefully it's got our.
Oh, this may not work because I think I may be in our meeting room right now. So I can stop this and go in via my meeting room.
And I don't mean. And I'm not sure how much you need to record about this training because we're going to end up doing it over and over again with people. But
What I mean is I don't think you're going to be able to.
Yeah.
Well, you can probably join the meeting that I'm in actually.
Well,
And that's a good idea.
yeah.
That's actually probably helpful if that's possible.
What's your?
Oh, it's 505-262-2484, our phone number, and the passcode is RITE. Oh, this is so thrilling. So now, my friends, we're gonna see what happens if I try to record on gallery view.
Okay.
So what is it that we're picking up? Well,
Reverb or return. Okay, let's just move it all there.
well, I just pushed that, but that didn't work.
That's the actual. What we're doing is we're creating a loop. It's the computer.
It's the computer.
So what happens is that if we're running it, and that's what we discussed, is sometimes we're gonna need to turn that off. If you have microphones and you also have the computer, so we only want the computer for playback. So that's gonna be a little issue if you're trying to run it live through Zoom. So it is good that we're starting to.
Well, yesterday we had to turn the computer on because we
Yes.
couldn't hear Zoom if we don't have it on. I mean, is it
Okay.
because there's another computer sitting here?
What
is
we're
going
doing is
on?
we just recreated a feedback loop. We're sending it and we're sending it in circles right now. So, that's sort of things that we want to know before we get to the end and what are we going to do to create to prevent that. So, let's see. It was definitely the computer. So if everything else is on, these are all the microphones. So these microphones are going in. But when we have sound going into the computer and we have sound going back out to the computer. So that's what in the terms, we call it a feedback loop. We'll have to do a little troubleshooting on that and find out how can we get sound from the computer and also record into the computer at the same time. Because typically you have to do one or the other. Really not supposed to do two at the same time, but you're also trying to hear what they're saying on the other side. So like if you're on a Zoom conversation and someone's talking, you want to hear them talk, and then they want to hear you talk.
Yeah.
So that is going to be
That
an
worked
issue.
yesterday, but I
Right.
don't understand what's going on right now.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand it, and I just got to find out what is going to be the solution. So I guess at this point, what we'll do is just leave it off, and that's going to be a troubleshooting issue that we'll have to work out through the day here and find out what's the solution to that. But we can go back to the operation of the cameras and how that all works, and then we'll get back to the live streaming, which is a totally different issue. We'll troubleshoot, and then we'll find out what's the answer to that. So,
Okay.
because that's what we're going to do is we're gonna as we start using it, we're gonna find out things. So anyhow, and then there's also the other issue is we want to get the computer direct to the TV, so you're not having to use it where you had to use the laptop and your programming. We want to get the actual live feed from your main computer and direct to the TV, which we're still cabling up that there. So
Yeah,
So
that's fine.
we'll have it
I
all
couldn't
done.
turn the laptop on with it right now because we don't have power to the
Right.
monitor.
okay,
So, okay, so, so this is, so, I mean, so both for all of us, well, why don't you explain the video switcher and the
okay,
camera controller so that,
okay.
because you know more about it than I do,
Yes.
and we're kind of all here to learn how
Yeah,
that's gonna
okay.
work.
So this will be the operation of the cameras. And what we have is we're working, whenever you're green, this is the camera switcher. So this is going to allow us to switch from camera to camera. So if we switch to camera number 1, that's going to be the first PTZ camera, which is the camera that's down over here. If we want to control that camera, this is the controller for the camera. So this is the actual switcher that's going to select us from when we're complete. We're going to have 5 cameras available. It's showing obviously that we have connected 3 cameras at this time.
Why?
What are you wanting?
Well, I mean, it's not showing us up there what we're doing. It's showing your,
It has it in the preview.
yeah, it has it there, but
Well, so spotlight it or pin it,
yeah,
or if you don't want to see,
I'm gonna spotlight it, I guess. Yeah, that's.
pin it. That will show you.
Yeah. Okay, so right now there's what, 3 cameras hooked up?
Yes.
Two are
So camera one is mounted underneath the stained glass windows on the north wall, south wall,
Yes.
south wall.
And it's a robotic camera. It's a PTZ camera.
And it's called number one.
And then we have camera number 2, which is the camera on the north wall.
Okay, number two is mounted in the choir loft
Yes.
on the north wall, peering down.
So if we ever want to move that, then we have to make sure we're on the controller for that. So we have to move this over to camera 2. So they'll kind of match up. If you're camera 2 here, we're camera 2 here. And then if we want to move it, then Christopher has set some presets. So we can go to, there's preset 1. Preset 2. So he's actually saved some things that are presets. So we're going to preset 3. Preset 4. And I'm not sure how to fill them all in there, but those are the presets.
So let me just really quick. So up here it says camera 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mhm.
And then the presets are over here on what looks like the telephone number pad. So you choose which camera and then you choose which preset over on the number pad.
Yes. And when we actually, we have 2 moving PTZ cameras right now. So we'll only be able to use camera 1 and camera 2 because those are the moving, and PTZ is going to stand for it can pan, tilt, and zoom. So it can do all 3 aspects of what we wanted to do. We can pan it left and right, we can tilt it up and down, and we can zoom in and out. We can also do a manual pan, tilt, and zoom. So if we're on camera 2 and we're viewing camera 2, we can do that live. Or if we want to do it, we can also preview it, which is typically your best way to do it. So for instance, if we're viewing camera 2, let me go ahead and turn this off. That's me. If we're viewing camera 2, then that means we can move camera 1 and preview it. So that way we can still, this is what everyone is seeing on Zoom. So if we're on camera 2, we're live there, but we can also get ready the next. So that will be your preview.
Preview is PVW. That's telling us what we're previewing. And then what does PGM stand for?
That's the actual program. So that's what is.
So that's what people are seeing.
Mhm. No, it's actually the program. So it's actually, if it's over here, it's just showing you that's available. So we're actually, if it's red, then it's not being viewed. The one that you're viewed is in the green. So you're green here and we're actually green here.
Okay.
So if we want to view from that to that, we can slide into it here because that was the one that was coming up next. So if you see it in red, that's what you're going to go to. If we want to go to the other one, we would just set it up next. So if I want to go from 3 to 1, then if I have 3 here, I can just slide from 3 to 1. So you can see what's coming up next on that. So there's a matter of previewing which one, and you can slide into it or you can go direct. If you want to go direct, keep your slider down, and then you can just use the top row.
You change the top row. I see. Okay.
So you can just change the top row.
So I definitely understand that I push a button to go to that screen. The slider, I don't understand. I don't understand what it's sliding from to, like up to down represents what on the screen?
From
green to red.
From green to red.
Green to red. So up is green, down is red.
Yes.
So if I want to go immediately from one to the other, I just punch it. But if I want to go gradually from one to the other, I slide.
Yes.
Okay, thank
And
you.
the speed of the slide controls the like fade of
And
it?
you can be halfway between the two sometimes too. So.
Oh, that sounds
Oh, so
mystical.
double vision. That's good.
Okay.
So, and when we're complete, we're also going to have a portable camera. So we have this one here, and we're also going to have another camera up close by the TV, which will catch the front. So that'll be another angle like this, but it will be the front. And that should be completed today, given everything goes like we planned. But anyhow, so you're going to have a total of 5 cameras. But just
I once
remember,
more missed an important piece of information. Camera 1, camera 2. Where did you say camera 3 is?
camera 3 is in the front right there. So it's actually mounted below.
Okay.
And it's right in the front, and that's catching the front angle.
So
That's camera 3
camera 3 is the center aisle.
in the center, yes. And then we'll decide which one to be 4 or 5, because all that is which one we plug in. So we can have 4 be the front, and then 5 could be the move around portable if you want to catch the organ.
Got it.
And so basically, whichever order we plug it in is how we're going to decide what's going to be the next 2 two
Great.
numbers. And if we ever want to switch it, it's just a matter of switching the
Unplugging.
cables, because this is 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And then over here is the outputs. One output goes to the monitor, which we can use as a program monitor, which is basically a preview monitor, which is nice because you can see all the different cameras. So this will be a preview monitor, which we're going to be switching to a larger monitor. And so that's going to be one monitor. And then this is going to be just your computer. These two is where you can slide between the two screens in the computer. But what we want to go out, this is where you're actually going to be going out to Zoom. And then that will get it connected to where that via the TV also. So that's basically the gist of the switcher. Is the best way to use it is if you want to use the direct from camera to camera to camera, and at the end we're going to be it will, when we plug in another
We're
one,
gonna
it's
have
going to
more,
light
yeah,
up.
we're gonna have more lights pretty soon.
So just leave this in the down position, and when this is in the down position, it's going to be easy to just go across the top row to switch from camera to camera. And then when you want to do a switch from camera to camera, just make sure you don't have the two on the same camera. Just make sure you have two separate cameras ready, and then go from there to there. And then that way you can switch from camera to camera.
So tell me why we have two computer screens.
The two computer screens is when you want to be working on two different things.
So we
you
could
can
be
view-
watching Facebook on this one, for
Yes.
example, or,
Yes.
or sharing Google Slides on
Right.
one so that we're not having to change
Yes.
windows on a single.
That's
Yeah.
kind of what Erin was doing yesterday. She had
Yeah.
Facebook up on that other screen so she could see what was happening.
Yeah.
And one thing, just Richard, I mean, and this is not the final arrangement of things, because we have a sound desk coming and some other things. One of the things she had trouble with yesterday is that she actually couldn't see anything through all the monitors.
Okay.
So she couldn't see where we were moving if she had to kind of adjust. So we'll figure that out. We'll figure out how to have a window of sight to
Right.
alter and what's
So it's not all
happening.
monitors there.
Yeah.
And we actually do have room, because this can actually go over all the way to the end.
Yeah.
There's nothing on here that we need over here.
Right.
All this is just electricity and a wireless. So if we relocate everything, we can move this to the end. We can slide everything down, and then we can leave an opening there. So I'd say since we're waiting on that desk and we do not have any kind of an idea, it's on the
We can make
it's on
some
the slow trip from
Somewhere.
yeah.
Okay.
So, and that's the way a lot of things are
One
right
of the
now.
things that I don't understand and is when I see PVW, I think that means preview,
Yes.
but that's actually what's going out. So, and that says program. So it seems like those labels are
It's,
reversed.
I asked that too, because I thought, but actually what's going out is not the preview. What's going out is the third camera.
Because the
That's
one that's
surrounded by
highlighted in
green.
Yes.
It's true that is what's going out, but it's also under PVW, and I don't know exactly what that means.
Got it.
Because in my mind, that means preview.
Right.
And
I
I'm
think
just-
maybe he just needs to tweak it a little more. I think. 'cause it's
Yeah,
hard.
yeah, and a lot of it is the direction that
Of those cables?
these cables are plugged in.
Okay.
They're just not like that.
But mostly what we wanted to get is the reason it got switched is because we wanted whatever camera
Yeah,
that you have here to be live,
right.
And that was the main
Definitely.
thing.
That's the main thing.
regardless of whether this makes sense here, and we'll get that worked out. But what was
Okay.
happening before, it was plugged in a different order,
Okay.
and
And
we
it wasn't
didn't.
going to.
It wasn't going. Your
Okay.
live feed wasn't the actual camera that you selected here.
That's not what
So that was the
Extra,
main
that's
thing.
more confusing.
That's even
Yes.
more confusing.
So we wanted to have it to where whatever number you're on here
Yeah.
is your live. So we're on camera 1, 2, and 3,
Okay.
and that will make sense.
So for now, just ignore the preview and
Yes.
program, because just ignore it.
We're still working on it. So there's some
That
questions and
makes
some
sense.
answers that we're gonna work out today, and also the issue we're having with the computer and the audio and everything. We're gonna find out what's going on with that.
Okay.
And then other than that, just the remembering you can operate these live as long as you're on either camera 1 or 2, because as long as you're viewing it, if you want to, you can say, I'm on camera 1 and I just want to move it. Just remember camera 1 and camera 1. So you're okay to move it. It's not going to hurt anything. You can move it left or right, up or down. And zoom is here, zoom in, and then zoom out. So those are some manual features between zoom in and zoom out, left or right, up or down. And then Already stored in here is the presets. So as long as we don't press and hold these buttons, if you're only just pressing them quickly,
It will just.
that's
go
how
through.
you operate it. To actually store them is when you have to press it and hold it for 3 seconds. And so just try to avoid that, because then you will have to answer to Christopher there. That's
Well, once we
taking
get
all this
presets
time
set, you
there.
probably won't. Unless you're just fine tuning a preset and you're like, I need a little bit more. I want it closer. I want it a little bit to the left, and I'm gonna fix that preset. I think that makes some sense. So I mean, the nice thing about having the 2 cameras and a lot of presets is that you can be using camera 1 to start with,
Right.
and then you can, while that's showing, you can switch to camera 2 and move
Get it the
to-
way you want it.
Move it to where you want it to with the presets.
Yes.
And then,
So then people aren't having to watch the pan, which
right,
makes
right.
one
It makes
very
one
busy.
easier.
Yeah, and then you can either use a direct to the, button to the next camera, or a slide to get to it, and you're ready for the next one. Then you can use then you can set the next camera for the next angle you're gonna need, or use you can always use one of the fixed cameras as an interim if you have to do something. You could use a wide shot. You could always use this back shot, camera 3, okay, I've got to switch between things. So you get to see the whole church for a second while I get close.
One thing that I wonder if we should agree on though, about something you just said, like, is that I think we'll all feel more secure in the audio and the video if we don't tweak the preset.
Oh, yes, no, I don't want to.
No, not during the service,
But I
but
mean, like,
until we get, well, like, I'm wondering
Do
if
you know what I'm
before
saying?
Sundays,
Yes.
we
Oh,
wanna
we need to
tweak
know
the
that.
presets before Sundays so that they're where we
Well,
want
I
them.
think we do want to, I think we want to kind of go through the order of worship and just say,
I think
okay,
so too.
camera one is right here.
Yep, and
The
again,
next
with
thing
a
is
little
camera
electrical
2.
tape to also clarify where we're standing so that we're at the optimal place with the preset, because we have more flexibility than this does in a certain sense.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Well, we just need to have, we have a pretty specific, I guess, sense of where people are going to stand
Yeah.
for each part. And then there's going to be some variety. There's going to be some need to
Yeah, I
use
mean,
the
we get that
joystick.
with the usual virtual verging anyways.
That's
Like,
right.
We're going off script, we're going off script.
Go on script for a second or. whatever.
Ready,
So,
improvise?
Yep.
And so so that's really how the camera stuff works. And it's really that the view from this spot is whatever camera you choose. That's your Zoom persona.
Yeah.
So there's, they can't hear you talking up here because the mic is spoken for already for the
Yeah.
sound system, and they can't see you because the camera is not taking a picture of you at the same
Oh,
time.
yeah, so yeah, okay.
So you have no personal persona on Zoom if you're
You're
at the
just a
sound
camera.
desk. You
Except
are
again, like Aaron was chatting, which is great, but only if someone else is sitting in front of a machine.
right,
Yeah.
right. And, so that's, I mean, and so it's really good, the work is going to be getting used to switching cameras
Yeah,
and
yeah.
getting comfortable with that, or coming up with the order of worship and saying, okay, I know where they are going to stand
Yeah.
for this, and and
We'll probably get to a point where we can like mark on the order of worship too, like.
Yeah, I think we'll just
Preset.
print out an order of worship that says prelude, procession, opening acclamation with all of the preset things, and then we can come in and edit it
Yeah.
if there's a change, but
Yeah,
have the,
right.
I think that's good, because I'm like, I don't know how many of these numbers I can just.
Oh, no, you won't really, none of us will be able to, I mean, after you've been doing it for a while.
Yeah,
Like I watched the guys over at Calvary doing the service, and they have they have 15, 20 cameras,
mhm,
but they clearly know where each of them are
yeah.
set and what these resets are. So anyway,
no problem.
it's okay.
No
Yeah,
problem.
It's okay. We had to start.
This way we get to actually do a review by seeing if we can just tell you the things we just
Yeah,
learned.
we can review with you. Okay. Thank you so much,
Oh, yeah.
Richard. I don't want to take.
No, I'll let you guys just kind of work with it, and
When
as
we
you
get done with this, maybe we'll work on sound.
Yeah,